Hi, Steve Adubato here in Atlantic City at the 166th New Jersey Education Association Convention. We are talking to educators, leaders of the NJEA, all sorts of national folks who talk about education as well. Once again, we're joined by Marie Blistan, president of the New Jersey Education Association. Good to see you.
Good, thank you, Steve.
Did you wear blue because you heard I was wearing this tie?
I think I did. I think I
had
mental telepathy with you.
By the way, your vice president's wearing blue as well.
I saw that, yes. We're all on the same page. Good to know.
By the way, you could tell that we're live here in Atlantic City because you see the activity going on. The convention is just kicking off early in the morning. Marie, first of all, put this in context for folks, because for those of us who have a fourth grader who's like, Dad, I have the 2 days off.
Yeah.
Well, those 2 days off, tell folks what goes on here.
Well, they're not 2 days off for our educators in this state, that's for sure. We have 229 different workshops for our educators. We have 200,000 members, Steve, as you know, in our great public schools, and they have the availability to come here, participate in those workshops in areas of their expertise, to grow their own professional learning, and again, to make content specific and important and relevant for our students in their lives.
You know what's interesting, as you're listening to Marie, we're going to be interviewing one of the main speakers here, Dr. Cornel West, internationally recognized, talks about race, social justice, and its connection to education. Your view of this, why is social justice a big theme at this convention?
Well, it's a platform that my two colleagues, Sean Spiller and Steve Beatty, and I ran on in this great state.
Your president and your secretary
Vice President
treasurer.
and Secretary Treasurer.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll see that the theme here says that for student success, we need education justice, we need social justice, and we need to do it by standing together. And that is a theme that we've had the past 2 years. We're going to continue it this year and definitely next year and into the future. So to have Dr. Cornel West here.
That's a big deal.
Oh, it's a huge deal. Our two speakers yesterday, by the way, were two students in college, Priya and Winona, who started in high school from Princeton High School.
And they wrote a wonderful book. We have the book over there. Tell me who you are.
Yes, tell me who you are.
And they went around the country. Tell everyone what they did.
They went around the country. They went to all 50 states as soon as they graduated high school, took a year off before they went to college.
Oh, by the way, they went to some small schools. It was at Harvard and Princeton.
Yeah,
I'm a Rutgers guy, so I'm not impressed, but go ahead.
Well, listen, these two girls, they're impressive.
And they talked about race.
They did, and racial justice, and our ability to be cognizant of where we are today and to want to grow our consciousness about it, to be specific, intentional about critiquing what the status quo is, and then to use our talents and abilities to change and make the movement in this country, to make ourselves a better place.
If you're just joining us, we're at the New Jersey Education Association Convention here at the Convention Center in Atlantic City. 166 years they've been doing it. We're here with the president of the NJEA, Marie Blistan. Let me ask you this. We go from these big picture issues of social justice, race, its connection to education, to a meat and potatoes issue you and I discussed on the radio recently. I was hosting over at AM 970, and you were good enough to get up real early and join us. And you talked about standardized testing.
Yes.
For folks who care about this thing called the PARCC test.
Yes.
P-A-R-C-C.
Yes.
Is it done? Is it dead?
Well, we're still talking about standardized testing and its proper use with our students in education. And I always start where we should start. What is the role of education? A role of education is to enable our students to become productive citizens in this great country of ours. Let's start from there and let's work backwards on what it is that they need. Testing has its role, just as standards do. And I'm a big supporter of standards in our state and implementing those standards. But when we look at standards, we must look at what the education is, what the curriculum is. What we know about testing is it has its place. It gives us a snapshot. It helps guide us as we move along, but there are different types of testing. And the most formative, the most important testing for me as a classroom teacher was always
Go back, hold on. Go back and let people know, before you became the president, you were in the classroom for a couple of years at least.
Yeah, more than 30 years. I taught kindergarten through 12th grade over those many years, regular education, as well as students who receive special education.
Good, go back to, that's great background, context. Go back to this connection to testing.
Well, as a classroom teacher, I was constantly assessing my students' learning while I was teaching a lesson. I'm trained to do that, I'm an expert in that, so that I would know, even as I was delivering a lesson, whether I was meeting their needs, whether I was capturing their attention, connecting with their background knowledge, so that they could in fact get the concept, or did I need to readjust constantly? That's assessing. I also used formative assessments, which are the classroom test and the district test that we would use.
But Marie, you're not saying you don't believe in standardized testing
Right.
at all.
No, absolutely not.
Because there's
It
going
has
to be
its
something
place.
after Park.
It has its place. But whether we have the overemphasis that this state during prior years put into place, Steve, we right now are spending 65 hours of our students' attention doing standardized testing.
Put that in context. What does that mean?
Well, that equates to over 80 45-minute periods of instruction that our students could be doing instruction in the arts, in music, in art education, in science, in social studies. There are so many other things that we use. We are not making robots of our students. Our students are more than a test score. You know, we are in agreement with our other stakeholders. I just saw a paper recently by the School Boards Association. They've come together and produced
And you
a
don't always
summary
agree
paper.
on things.
You know, more times than not
But
that we do.
the point is you have different agendas, but on this,
No, you know what? Our agenda is the same. Our agenda is to provide the best quality public education that we can for our students. And when I look at the school board's recent summary on social emotional needs of our students and the fact that they, in fact, have a sentence in their paper that our students are more than a test score, that's what I said in a recent op-ed.
so you're in sync on this.
We are, absolutely. We want what's best for our students, and we want a full-rounded, quality public education. We are not here to produce students who can only take tests. And I will add this, Steve, that the colleges themselves are no longer relying on standardized test scores for entrance. They are looking at what we know works. They're looking at a student's full profile, what their academic courses were, how they did, and what else they did in high school.
You've been listening to and watching Marie Blistan, who is the president of the NJEA. We're here at the NJEA Convention. I should have said this up front. The New Jersey Education Association is a longtime underwriter. I should disclose that, and long-time underwriter of what we do at the Caucus Educational Corporation and of our colleagues and partners at NJTV. I want to thank you, Marie.
No, thank you, Steve. We
good to be here.
appreciate it. We love being here. We're excited to be here. And again, our educators, we're number one in the United States, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Best
By the way,
quality public
who
schools.
was it again?
Education Weekly.
I knew you'd know that.
Yeah.
They said number one.
They said number one. We were number two for a while. We were very proud of it, but we said we were not going to stop until we got to be
Isn't
number
it great?
one.
New Jersey
and we're
is,
going to stay there.
New Jersey's number one in something other than
Yes.
property taxes,
Yes.
auto insurance
Yes.
rates. We're number one.
Well, that's why people want to move here, by the way. They know that they have a quality public education system.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you, Steve.
Done. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be back right after this, promise.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, Berkeley College, Valley Bank, ADP, the Northward Center, the Turl Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, New Jersey Resources, and by Delta Dental of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by NJ Advance Media and by Insider NJ.